how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Bannerlord mod spotlight video. Today we're going to be diving in with the awesome China mod that has recently just been updated. This mod has been around for a long time. I remember playing it all the way back when Bannerlord was in 1.0. However, the mod has now recently been updated to 1.2.9, so the latest Bannerlord patch. And I thought it'd be cool to go ahead and shine some light on the mod again and let you guys know that this is a mod that you can play and incorporate into your next mod list. If this is a mod you haven't heard of before, or you don't know what it is, basically adds in a brand new part of the map to Calradia, adds in a brand new faction based around China with tons of new units, armors, lords, etc. All the stuff you would expect from a kind of, I guess, new faction edition with map expansion. And honestly as well, before we do dive in and take a look, this would be like an amazing DLC if Tailworlds actually, updated the game, which seemingly is an impossible challenge for them over the past year. This would be like such a cool DLC to add to the game, expanding the map off to the east, obviously on a much larger scale than what this mod does, but I would love an Asian faction implemented into the mod, into the base game like this. But let's take a look at them. So of course we have some custom abilities right here, which I think is really cool. You get kind of the additional Kuzai rules as well, but you also get some additions as well to production of your castles, which is good, kind of giving you that production and being able to produce more richer cities, better taxes, etc. And also a bit of a cheaper infantry kind of focus on your faction. However, you do have to pay your soldiers a little bit more overall. You do get a little bit of a glimpse of some of the armors as well as you do grow up, and you kind of pick your starting positions. I do also like as well that there are custom like civilian clothes as well, which is kind of cool to see. The addition of these is always nice and a good way to implement that in, and you can also start to see some of the custom weapons as well as you progress through this tree. So here we are on the campaign map now, and again you guys can see the new edition of the map. So I believe all of this has been implemented into the mod. So I think it's like a bunch of these castles down here, a few of these settlements down here to the south, because the normal Bannerlord stuff I think ends around about like here, right? It cuts it off. So a few of these settlements have been taken away from the Kuzites, I believe. I think maybe, no, this one's been added as well. Yeah, so this is completely new part of the landmass being expanded off to the east, which again is a real nice thing. So you can still kind of play that vanilla style play style, but just with an additional faction out here. This of course also completely changes the dynamic of the game again, because generally the Kuzites do really well because they're only really fighting a one front war. However, having another faction down here to the south will cause issues for basically every single faction, and cause them to have to rethink their war strategy. On top of that, as I mentioned, there are completely custom new lords as well. So all of these guys have been implemented. Some of them do have their own lore behind them as well. You can see there are several clans to pick from. The kingdom itself has 5 pretty large scaled clans. I think pretty much all of these are tier like 5, 6 and above. That's a 4-1, that's a 5-8. Yeah, so basically all these clans are pretty big, so they can still field very large armies, and I imagine they'll gain more and more as they progress on. Unit wise, they have several different troop trees to pick from, and we can take a look at them here. So right here we have kind of the base assorted troop right here. Nothing too special, nothing crazy, but we'll get the job down off obviously from the peasant with a basic sword, spear, nothing crazy whatsoever. However, it does expand, and it does expand pretty quickly. We have some of the tier 3 infantry looking pretty cool, and again there are a few variants of these. Again, they have some line breakers, so these are going to be spear javelin throwers. We have crossbowmen, and we also have bowmen, so they basically have it all. But then as you expand out, you start to get a bit more of the custom equipment, and again there are several different variants. Again, the helmets are different, and then you move all the way up into these. I guess these are like kind of a bit more Korean. That's like a Korean shield on their back, a tower shield. I think I can find them right about here. No? Yeah, these are the guys I'm talking about. So yeah, I believe this is more of like a Korean style tower shield, but again, they look really cool. Going to be a sturdy front line for basically anything you have to worry about. They also have some pretty elite cavalry. They have their fully upgraded line breakers. Again, just javelin throwing spear infantry. It is pretty good. Actually, I think this is more of a glaive than anything else. So again, some pretty aggressive infantry. And they go across and just have crossbows. Horse archers, I imagine, are going to be a pain to deal with. And then they also have their noble troop line as well, which I believe spawns off of these guys. And again, yeah, you can go up to some pretty crazy stuff. So their noble troop line is very expansive. There's a lot of unit diversity to mess around with. We of course have the infantry noble troop line, which goes up into some pretty scary units. And again, these dudes don't have crazy stats either, which is good to see. Like these tier 4s have pretty middle of the ground stats. stats, and they're going to be relying more on their equipment rather than their skill. And I think that's good. In a lot of mods like this, sometimes they just stick the stats up to 300 and they just kill everything, and it's like, oh well, you know, this unit's OP, but it doesn't really make sense. And again, as we continue to expand, we got up to some more of their white pythons with this huge old glaive and javelins on the back, and then finally end on the black dragons, who truly do look like black dragons, my god. And there's several variants of them, equipped with a huge old glaive, and they also have some javelins to throw, and I imagine these javelins are pretty strong as well, 125 piercing, and good stats. You know, these are very good, competent, high tier 6 stats, so they're going to be able to do a lot of damage. We also have the cavalry variant as well. I believe they have a custom shield and a super long pike as well on them. 243 length is going to be brutal, and they have a glaive variant. And then finally, we also have the archer variant as well, the horse archer variant with that awesome looking glaive on the back. So as well, tons of custom weaponry and armors to experiment with. So there's a whole wealth of stuff to really mess around with. Some pretty brutal ass weapons, and just some really cool equipment. Lots of different helmets to mess around with. There's really cool stuff you can mix and match, and this mod also does, I believe, use some parts of open source armory as well. So again, if you're wanting to use maybe more of a medieval look or just have these guys in your game, that is definitely something that you can do, and again will be completely fine, run perfectly fine, and you won't have any issues with them if you want to just have a Valandian playthrough, or maybe even implement some other mods that will change other factions in this. I haven't experimented with it much myself, but I know this mod is part of a larger one where you can get all the other mods that add in different factions and you can splice them all together. That's not a mod I've messed around with. You guys maybe want to see me giving that a go, make sure to drop a like and a comment and let me know down below, as I'd be more than happy to mess around with that. But yeah, it's pretty cool down there. You can kind of implement all the, like, I think the Japan mod, and there's a bunch of other ones you can all combine into one big one. So we've taken a look at the units, we've taken a look at the starting position, again set up pretty nicely. Did I mention here, you also start off a war with the Aserai, which again will really dictate the campaign, because now the Southern Empire don't have to worry about the Aserai so much, and you'll be looking to expand off to the west and having some pretty large scale engagements. But it's also worth mentioning that there are custom bandits as well. So you have these looters right here, and then you also have the yellow turban revolts as well. And these looters are completely custom as well. They have their own unit trees and stuff to mess around with. Again, we're going to just run in, take a look at some of the units close up. They're not going to be an issue whatsoever either. But again, it's worth just diving in and mentioning that there are custom bandits in the mod. Honestly, it's just nice having them in, because it goes ahead and basically just adds in a little bit more diversity. So if we zoom in now and take a look at some of the units again, you can see the tower shield guys, huge maces, big old weaponry, lots of defenses. You can also see some of the black dragons with them awesome looking glaives, going to be absolutely brutal. I imagine these javelins, yeah, look at the size of the javelins as well, man. Absolutely brutal. This dude with a big old two-hander ready to swing. Yeah, some really deadly units right there. Again, the cavalry, you guys can get a nice little glimpse of it. And also the horses, I think, are way bigger as well. Look at this dude. What's he up to? Oh, he's reforming the line. Good on you, good sir. Good on you. Unfortunately, these are just looters, so they're not going to stand a chance. Let's throw the boys forward, see if they can take them out. And of course, we have some of these really awesome custom weapons as well. Yeah, my friend, ain't going to go too well for you, is it? Yeah, 200 damage. Let's bring forward the rest of the boys. The javelins will be coming in, I imagine. Oh, wow. Look at that. The beautiful block. I also believe as well that this mod pack can be compatible with RBM as well. So if that's something that you guys want to implement into your playthrough, if you're playing this, I believe it can be, because it uses open source armory, and I believe there's an RBM variant for this as well. So completely workable with that if you're wanting to kind of combine the armors of the China mod in with this. Works completely fine. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know if this is a mod that you'll be playing yourself down below in the comments. If there's any other mods that have recently been updated that maybe haven't been around for a while, make sure to let me know down in the comments, and it might be featured in the next video. And I'll see you guys in that next video.